right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A warm, gloomy, and calm day for our Sunday, but things change Monday morning. A weather impact alert day as this rain settles in. How much of your commute it impacts and how high the winds gust the rest of the day.
A suspected murderer on the run from police.
I'm scared, honestly.
The latest in the manhunt spreading multiple counties. Tonight, a teenager in critical condition after a shooting at a short-term rental.
A lot of folks are being held hostage by Airbnbs in their community.
Local leaders react, drawing attention to a growing problem.
Right now, we are in a weather impact alert. It's calm in downtown St. Louis tonight. However, commuters can expect a rainy and gusty wake-up call. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush. Thanks for joining us. Let's get right to meteorologist Gary Frank, who's tracking the incoming rain and some strong winds heading right for us.
Yeah, good evening, Mike. As we continue to stay dry, it was calm, it was cloudy today, but we're looking off to the southwest. That's where this rain that we've been tracking for the last few hours is starting to take shape. And not much, and this is not severe weather that's going to wake you up. This is not something that if you're a light sleeper, you're going to wake up. This is a steady, gentle rain gradually that will pick up and get a little bit more aggressive during the commuting hours. Right now, it's still 58 degrees. We got to 65 today. Our average high is 55. At 11 o'clock in November, we're way above average. We're supposed to drop down to 37. We are far from that. And that tells you that obviously we've got a nice surge of moisture. And just if you stayed up after the football game and want to catch the weather, here's what we're dealing with. We've got a steady line of rain that probably settles in after 2 or 3 o'clock. But watch how this wide band picks up 5, 6, 7 o'clock. That's the main commute time frame. Also, the rest of the overnight hours, we're not going to change much. We're going to warm up quickly. We'll see that rain continue. But it is a weather impact alert day. That wind, also the second component of things. That will really pick up afternoon with gusts over 35 miles an hour. We'll talk more about that and a second wave of rain, which may add to even more gusty winds. We'll detail that in just a few minutes.
All right, Gary, thanks. Tonight, a teenager remains in critical condition 24 hours after a shooting in Soulard. Police say the gunfire broke out as a house party was underway at a short-term rental near 8th and Russell. As our Andy Kroll reports, the violence comes as new regulations take effect on these types of properties.
A house party ending abruptly.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, it's really scary.
A 17-year-old boy shot in the chest, St. Louis Metro Police say, only steps away from a large house party in the 800 block of Russell Street on Saturday night. But it wasn't just a few shots. Police say a large number of shell casings were on Russell, both inside and outside the residence. Brick smashed and windows shot into where a short-term rental property was hosting numerous teenagers around 10 p.m.
It absolutely is a recipe for disaster, and we're typically seeing these in these one-night rentals.
Alderwoman Kara Spencer with St. Louis's 8th Ward wants tighter regulations enforced by short-term rentals or STRs like Airbnbs. As of this month, the city now requires a permit to operate an STR, though owners and platforms have until May 2025 to become compliant. Mayor Tashara Jones's office telling us Sunday night, quote, incidents like this highlight the importance of the city of St. Louis's new short-term rental regulations, which prioritize the safety of guests and neighbors and allow the city to track these units and respond quickly when issues arise.
These teenagers aren't staying for a week. They're pulling a one-night occupancy, and that is clearly banned in our regulation legislation package that we passed.
Ordinance 71729 requires short-term rentals meet certain standards and risk having their permit revoked for noncompliance, also restricting how many STRs can operate in a multifamily structure or by a single owner. Neighbors didn't want to go on camera but said there were even people trying to break into their homes on Saturday. Yet Megan Pergon has lived in Soulard for about a year and loves visiting this stretch.
I don't really think about it. That's the thing. I'm just comfortable, and I feel like the businesses really take care of the patrons and stuff like that. I live not too far from Duke's, and I know they're always watching out for the people around, and so I haven't felt too concerned, to be honest.
Andy Kroll, 5 on your side.
And police are asking anyone with information to come forward. You can leave an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. The mayor's office encourages anyone experiencing an issue with a short-term rental in their neighborhood to call the city's new hotline. That number, 314-798-9245. We also have a link to submit a complaint online at KSDK.com. Tonight, we're learning a man is recovering after being shot in the Carondelet neighborhood. Police say the 42-year-old was shot in the leg around 7:30 last night on Bates Street, not far from Carondelet Park. A family member drove the victim to a nearby hospital. Police are still searching for a suspect. Right now, a manhunt is underway. Law enforcement agencies from Lincoln, St. Charles, and Warren counties are looking for this man, James Fraser. He's accused of shooting and killing his neighbor in Wright City on Friday, and police say he's been spotted in all 3 counties in the last 48 hours. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski has the latest on the search.
The Warren County Sheriff's Office says they were called out to Bob White Lane on Friday in Wright City just before 7 a.m. where someone who was picking up their coworker found a 49-year-old man shot to death in the front yard. Wayne Biddick says unfortunately he's not very surprised something like this happened here.
This area over the past few years has been getting worse, especially when it comes to drugs like meth, heroin, and the violence is going to go up, corresponding.
We still don't know what led up to the shooting, but Warren County deputies believe 38-year-old James Fraser killed the man. They say Fraser was a neighbor and acquaintance of the victim. Investigators say Fraser took off after the shooting and has been on the run with help from friends. He's been spotted on Highway J, Bob White Lane, and Mystic Drive in Warren County. He's also been seen near Linds Mill Road and Highway U in nearby Lincoln County and one undisclosed location in St. Charles. Some Lincoln County residents tell us they've been searching their properties, sheds, and barns. Jada Harris says she's going to worry for her loved ones until Fraser's caught.
Family, kids that walk home from school, anybody really, because who knows what his intentions are.
Deputies say they found weapons in the woods behind a home near where the shooting happened in the 29,000 block of Bob White Lane. They don't know if he's still armed, but he was last seen wearing a black hat, dark-colored hoodie, baggy blue jeans, and work boots. Fraser is approximately 6'1" and about 180 pounds.
I feel for the victim, I really do, and honestly for the perpetrator as well, because what happened in his life to get to that level to where he decided that was a good idea. You know what I mean? It's just a sad situation all around.
Investigators say they've been talking with family and friends, trying to encourage Fraser to turn himself in.
I really do hope they catch him.
Reporting in Wright City, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
The Warren County Sheriff's Office is warning the public to be extremely cautious if you see him. Anyone with information is asked to call the Warren County Emergency Services at this number, 636-456-7088, or you can call 911.
It was just a huge shock. Nothing like that had ever happened to us before.
This weekend, the community came out to help a Brentwood resale shop hit by thieves. Days ago, someone broke into the switching post and stole cash that would have provided scholarships to children with special needs. 5 on your side's Mercedes McKay shows us how the store's holiday extravaganza could help recoup those losses.
The Christmas spirit was alive and well inside the Miriam switching post Sunday morning.
It feels like we're kind of at a place now where people are feeling rejuvenated and happy and moving forward.
Just a week ago, though, those feelings were filled with betrayal.
It was just a huge shock. Nothing like that had ever happened to us before.
After someone came into the store and stole cash that provides scholarships for children attending the Miriam School and Learning Center.
Kids that come to Miriam because they have to come to Miriam. They don't have other options.
The private school serves over 150 kids yearly, kindergarten through 12th grade, through specialized instruction.
Our mission is basically to help kids who learn differently get the services, the education, anything they need to be successful in life.
Hoping to bring that success to more students' lives, the upscale resale shop in Brentwood hosted a fundraiser all weekend long.
The community, the customers, has just stepped up and wrapped their arms around us, and it's been pretty wonderful.
Despite the devastation, the Switching Post is thankful for people who have supported their mission. Every piece of furniture or home decor bought, all for one thing.
It's helping kids in need go to Miriam where they can get the support they need for their special learning needs. That's what it's all about for us.
Volunteers here at the Switching Post tell me the community outreach and support has been the bright light in all of this. Now, if you couldn't make it out to the holiday extravaganza, don't worry. You can always come here and shop Tuesday through Sunday and support the Miriam School. In Brentwood, Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
You can also donate online to the Miriam School and Learning Center. We have a link in the As Seen on TV section on KSDK.com. We have some breaking news. We're taking a live look at Interstate 44 near Interstate 64. Right now, some of the eastbound lanes of I-44 are closed due to a deadly crash. Police say that A two-vehicle crash happened over an hour ago and a person has died. Accident reconstruction is investigating. All lanes are expected to reopen in the next 30 minutes. Tonight, an SIUE professor premiered his new film at the St. Louis International Film Festival. The movie explores the impact Michael Brown's death has had on the city. It comes just 3 months after the 10-year anniversary of Brown's death and the unrest in Ferguson that followed. The filmmaker says the movie is a passion project for himself after his cousin was killed by an off-duty St. Louis City police officer.
Everyone I knew and loved were fighting for justice. I had to turn my attention somewhere, and that's when I became what I call a social justice artivist. I was always an actor, I was always a director, but those horrific incidents turned my art into activism.
The festival wrapped up earlier tonight.
A neighborhood field of dreams, where big league dreams are coming true.
And then Cameron yelled, "It's Salvi," and no one could believe it.
The All-Star trading in the stadium for a backyard ball game and now a Musial Award. Medical misconduct in prisons, putting Missouri in a legal battle. Tonight, our I-Team uncovers the cost to taxpayers.
As we continue to track our weather impact alert day for Monday, winds are going to gust over 30 miles an hour through the afternoon. When the winds shut off Monday and why they will be a repeat factor through the rest of the 7-day forecast.
A calm night right now in downtown St. Louis weather-wise. However, some strong winds and early morning rain are on the way. Meteorologist Gary Frank joins us now with a look at how tomorrow's conditions could impact your morning commute.
Yeah, we're going to be dealing with some of that rain off to the southwest. You're starting to see that fill in, get a little bit closer. That's what we're working on over the next several hours. Right now, one thing I want to point out in Edwardsville, look how calm the trees are. Even when we see Anthony tomorrow morning, maybe not at 4 a.m., but toward the 9 a.m. hour once the sun is up, we're really going to start to see those trees move around a lot. The wind is going to be a big factor. And look at the 30s and 40s behind this front. At some point, we'll start to feel that cold air, but it's going to take a while. And that's why it's still 58 at this hour, mid-60s in November. But we're not dealing with severe weather. A lot of the times this clashes and is severe. That will be something that has to deal with off to the south and southwest. For us right now, we see that steady line of rain, more flooding. And as that works its way to the north, that's going to be a concern for central Kansas, Oklahoma, and Kansas City. They actually need it more than we do. They did not get that steady rain that we had the other day in some cases. But this is where it's getting closer from Branson, Fayetteville, and Springfield. This fills in. This works its way off to the northwest over the next several hours. You'll see that settle in, as I mentioned, right between 7 to 9 a.m. Look how quickly this moves out, though, for the first part of Monday. That's the big story for the first part of it. I do expect that we're going to deal with more rain than anything to start off. Also, winds will start to gust as well, over 25 to 35 miles an hour throughout most of the afternoon. Expect that. So, as an impact alert day is in place on Monday, that is the first part of it, is going to be the rain. I think it's going to be right during your morning commute. 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. A lot of us dealing with rain, but as it moves from south to north, we'll clear out and it warms up again. We're in the upper 60s. Most of the day actually ends up being dry. It's just a nuisance of the morning commute. Now, the second part of the day, like I mentioned, is dry, but then we'll watch that stronger storms in central Missouri. Watch how they start to work their way towards us and then fade away. Those colors not as intense. That's good news for us in terms of severe weather, but I do think that kicks up the wind a little bit more. So for your main weather impact alert, rain during the commute, let's call it between 5 and about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Okay, wind gusts between 25 to 40. That's the secondary thing. That's what I see most of the day. So expect a slower morning as well. There are going to be some loose objects flying around, especially as wet as the soil is. If you're driving a high-profile vehicle on those east to west roadways, that's going to move the car around a little bit. As far as significant rainfall is concerned, I think most of us over the next few days are not going to see. Most of that is off to the west. That's good news for us the next 7 days. Your weather impact alert day tomorrow with windy conditions tomorrow in the morning, and then still pretty decent Tuesday. Windy again Wednesday, Thursday, but there's that cold air that I mentioned behind it as we feel a little more like November the next few days.
Time to go on the move. I'm Paul Cook, your traffic guy from Today in St. Louis. All lanes of Interstate 44 near the Arch will be closing for a day coming up. This could impact your plans next Saturday, especially if you don't use my alternates. Saturday, November 23rd, MoDOT crews will close all lanes of eastbound I-44 near the Gateway Arch to take care of some maintenance work. Where exactly is this? 44 East between the Poplar Street Bridge and Walnut Street. It will be closed from 7 on Saturday morning until 3 on Saturday afternoon. How can you get around this? Drivers can take the park exit, turn left onto Broadway, and follow those signs for eastbound I-44 and westbound I-70 to get back onto the interstate. The Blues aren't in town that day, but we do have the Musial Awards honoring Bob Costas at Stiefel downtown, and Winterfest is opening at Keener Plaza. So some drivers might be affected going to those events. Let's hope for decent weather to allow this work to finally get completed and put it in the rearview mirror. Stay safe out there. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
A healthcare crisis in the state's prison. Our I-Team uncovers the mistakes which could be costing taxpayers millions. Tonight, our I-Team investigates the Missouri Department of Corrections, where prison reform advocates say a lack of independent oversight has led to misconduct and millions of taxpayer dollars spent on lawsuits. 5 on your side's Paul Hassan takes you inside a system many are calling broken. A warning, some of what you're about to see may be difficult to watch.
This video shows the final moments of 38-year-old Othel Moore's life. His family says he died alone in a Missouri prison, neglected when he needed urgent medical care. It hits close to home for Tempest Williams.
It's ridiculous.
Her boyfriend is incarcerated for a probation violation, and she worries his basic medical needs are being ignored. She says he recently begged for oral surgery at a St. Louis County prison.
He said, wisdom tooth causing extreme pain. And clearly you can see they didn't put nothing on him.
Instead, she says he was written up and put on lockdown. When she finally saw him, she could feel his anguish.
I'd never seen my man cry. He had tears coming down his eyes, excruciating pain.
This kind of suffering isn't just affecting people behind bars. It's costing Missouri taxpayers millions. Since 2020, data shows Missouri's Department of Corrections has paid out $68 million in lawsuit settlements. Those lawsuits, filed by contractors, inmates, and former staff, alleging everything from employer misconduct to abuse. To dig deeper, the I-Team interviewed prison reform advocates across the state. Among them, Mallory Rush with the nonprofit Empower Missouri.
What I don't want my taxpayer dollars to be used for are paying out lawsuits to DOC staff because the department does not have appropriate controls in place to prevent abuses in their facilities.
Others, like Lori Curry, say the data we're exposing reveals a system failing from within.
It's getting worse every day.
What are the changes that need to be made?
We are really pushing for legislation that would implement an independent department in the state.
In 21 other states, including Illinois, advocates say independent agencies that inspect facilities and respond to complaints have reduced abuse and saved taxpayer dollars. A corrections spokesperson declined an on-camera interview, but said in an email that the department is constantly making improvements, citing new body scanners to block dangerous contraband. They added, the narrative that people in Missouri prisons don't get adequate health care or are more likely to die is simply false. But many argue that the facts tell a different story. Inside Missouri's prisons, about 12 people die every month,
which is the highest we've ever seen, and it just continues to rise.
Why is it getting worse?
You've got 2 nurses working a facility with 2,000 individuals, and people aren't getting necessary medications like mental health meds, cardiac meds, epilepsy medications, things like that.
A corrections spokesperson says the prison death rate is actually lower than the rest of the state, with most deaths attributed to natural causes. But people like Williams want more oversight and transparency from the Department of Corrections.
I feel like they got power and they take advantage of it.
Prison reform advocates argue that an independent watchdog could prevent abuse and reduce taxpayer-funded settlements by enforcing accountability. It's now up to Missouri lawmakers to determine if that oversight is necessary. For the I-Team, Paula Vassan, 5 on your side.
If you have a tip for Paula, you can leave a voice message at 314-444-5231 or email her directly at paula@ksdk.com. We'll be right back.
And one last look at our weather impact alert. Tomorrow morning, 5 to about 9 a.m. Rain during the commute, and then our wind gusts will pick up between 25 and 40 miles an hour. So expect a slower morning, and those high-profile vehicles driving around, especially with those wind gusts later in the day, going to be a little more problematic.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10, a late edition. We're always streaming on 5+. A special Sunday night edition of The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
All roads lead to a Fallon, and we're celebrating last month's record sales by making it even better. Better options, better warranty, and the absolute best sales experience. O'Fallon Buick GMC, home of the 199 Buick Envista.
If you are on the fence about ordering McDonald's, consider this a sign.
Order and pay ahead in the McD app and get 25% off when you spend more than $10. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The holidays.
So happy together.
And holiday trips. And holiday toys. And holiday bonding. And it all comes together in a Chevrolet.
You can get this well-equipped 2025 Trax starting at $21,495. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. We can help you understand all of your legal rights so that you don't get cheated.
DM Law knew what to do and got me $150,000 for my car wreck.
Call me. I've got this.
Better go to Dobbs.
You better go to Dobbs.
Dude, you better go to Dobbs.
Bumper to bumper, you're better going to Dobbs.
Early Thanksgiving deals now at Dobbs. Valuable tire and service deals to get you road ready for holiday driving. Click on gotodobbs.com to download early Thanksgiving deals now.
We need your trade at O'Fallon Buick GMC. After record sales month, we need cars. So we're offering maximum value for your trade-in. And if you want a hassle-free buying experience, we have you covered. O'Fallon Buick GMC, home of the 499 Sierra.